My name is Jorge Espejo, and I'm going to present to all of you the following final project for the second trimester in Block 5 English class. First of all, I just want to thank Tanya for the great classes she gave us. They were a ton of fun. We had a ton of activities, and I think we successfully learned the topics we had to. And I also want to mention that all of the projects are based on the 1984 novel. They all are either inspired or directly made about some of the topics of it. They draw comparisons with the book and our modern world. All the projects are in different mediums. Some of them are songs, some of them are drawings, collages, videos. They're all different, which I just think is a great thing, and I'm sure you're all going to enjoy all of them.
My presentation's on doublespeak and how it's represented both in the book and also in real life. So basically, doublespeak distorts and disguises words or phrases, often in order to conceal the truth. I thought that it was very represented in the book, although the term doublespeak is never actually used. I think it's very present in different phrases that they use. For example, war is peace, freedom is slavery, ignorance is strength. Those are words that basically contradict each other, so it's doublespeak. It's considered doublespeak. Also, another quote like, who controls the past controls the future, who controls the present controls the past. I think that those two quotes were the ones that most stood out to me as doublespeak in the novel. So what I did in my presentation is I took a quote that Donald Trump said once. He claimed to be the #1 environmental president. And I think that that's doublespeak because of things that he said in the past in interviews, denying global warming or pulling out of the Paris Agreement. So I think that that's a clear representation of doublespeak in real life and how it is used by politicians. It can also be used by marketing or all kinds of things.
So as we can see in the screen, we have three different collages. The one in the middle is like a representation of 1984 and the present. On the left, we have the representation of the novel 1984, and on the right, we have the representation of the present. So my theme is Big Brother, and so Big Brother is this person or this group that are always watching you and observing and doing assumptions on you. So this quote that I think it describes Big Brother very well, that it's Big Brother, all powerful, every success, every achievement, every victory, every specific discovery, all knowledge, all wisdom, all happiness, all virtue, all issue is held over you. So basically, because he's always watching you, he can do whatever he wants, and you don't really know when he's watching you. So that's why there are a lot of eyes, and that's why I try to like remark the eyes. And we can see in the left collage the old man hiding so you know he exists and he's visible, but you don't really know who he is. That's why he's hiding. Then on the right, we have the group of people judging, talking, and doing assumptions. So that's social media. That's you're always being watched, but you're not sure how or when. So that's like my representation of the present of the novel. And then we have the middle, that it's combined, that it's the girl being, she doesn't know she's being watched, but she's being watched by all the eyes that she's being surrounded by. So that's my representation. Thank you.
Authoritarianism is a form of government in which there is a single leader that controls the government of a country or state. This head ruler isn't democratically elected, and instead they gain power by force. Ideally, an authoritarian ruler holds that power as a dictator. The state's people are subjected solely to their blind loyalty to them. This is unlike the authoritarian's counterpart, the totalitarian. Totalitarianism is authoritarianism on steroids, as every aspect of the citizen's life is controlled by the state, and the dictator has absolute power. This ranges from profession to food rations. In 2018, term limits in China were removed, making President Xi Jinping a dictator. Over the years, China has abused its justice system to silence government dissent against the CCP, or the Chinese Communist Party. They regularly deny their people freedom of religion, systematically discriminate against the LGBTQ community, and employ mass censorship, control, and surveillance. In George Orwell's 1984, the telescreen is an iconic device used to spy on Oceania's population, and China's counterpart is not much different. The similarities in the following quotes are eerie. Quote, the telescreen received and transmitted simultaneously. Any sound that Winston made above the level of a very low whisper would be picked up by it. Moreover, so long as he remained within the field of vision which the metal plate commanded, he could be seen as well as heard. There's of course no way of knowing whether you're being watched at any given moment. End quote. Today, the regime that is most similar to 1984's Oceania is the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, or North Korea. Everything discussed that happens in China happens in North Korea, and often even worse. Its population is almost completely impoverished, the internet is completely restricted to everyone but a select few, information is very hard to find as well as state issues, and everything about one's life is completely controlled by the state. Its population is brainwashed to view Supreme Leader Kim Jong-un as a god. They're subjected through fear, all the while he has supreme power. Orwell said, quote, the masses never revolt of their own accord, and they never revolt merely because they are oppressed. Indeed, so long as they are not permitted to have standards of comparison, they never even become aware that they are oppressed. Propaganda takes the form of posters, films, cartoons, songs, books, and more. They are used to plant ideas in the population's mind, for example, anti-Semitism in Nazi Germany or anti-capitalism in the USSR. They're effective because they're simple for the average person to understand, yet they're politically charged. Despite 1984 being a warning against totalitarianism and fascism, Orwell's writings have become a reality in many countries.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, my name is Santiago Jauregui, and I'm here to defend George Orwell in Case 101. During this case, I will present you proof that the governmental system has been oppressing even the highest tier of people. Let's start with some vocabulary, shall we? Doublethink. From the words of George Orwell himself, even to understand the word doublethink involves the use of doublethink. It is known as the power of holding two contradictory beliefs in one's mind simultaneously and accepting both of them. Oppression. By the Cambridge Dictionary, it is known as a state in which people are governed in an unfair way. Thought crime. It can be described as anything that goes against the ideals of the higher government. And from George Orwell's Codex, thought crime does not entail that. Thought crime is there. Now that we have a clear idea of this vocabulary, let's start with some evidence. Example number 1. Why are governments telling us that automation will save our lives when we instead destroy the economy? Automation will take over low-effort jobs. Low-effort jobs are the basis of the economy, and we need human people in the economy to maintain it, so they are just fooling themselves. They will just destroy the country. Example number 2. Why is President Trump telling us that immigrants are destroying the country when they're instead contributing to the economy? They create small businesses which then are given to American citizens. They are contributing with experience and with more jobs. Then why are they still looked down upon? If there is hope, it truly lies in the proles. Example number 3. This is Julian Assange, founder of WikiLeaks, a page where periodism is uncensored. In 2019, he was accused with Chelsea Manning of performing the biggest confidential information leaks in the US, mainly videos of war crimes in Afghanistan. He was given hunt and eventually became the enemy of the country, even though he was just trying to help his comrades. Doesn't this make you remember the enemy of the party, Emmanuel Goldstein? In conclusion, we can see our society has been living a lie we ourselves have created. How is it possible that we can believe two contradictory things at the same time? Is it confusion, brainwashing, ignorance, or strength? I don't see George as the culprit of witchcraft nor thought crime. I just see a man that wanted to warn his comrades of the future we are creating. Now tell me, what do you think?
Hi, my name is Fabiola Sandoval, and today I'm going to present you my 1984 final project. So I made a table of connections like those made by detectives. In this case, I did it to find Big Brother. All the drawings that you see there represent Big Brother, and each of them are connected. According to George Orwell's 1984 novel, Big Brother is the supreme ruler of Virginia and the leader of the party. There are some similarities between 1984 and reality. However, the method of the current Big Brother is much more advanced. His way of working consists mostly of internet usage, social media, and basically anything that can provide information about you, since everything you look for will be registered in the search engines for market research. Another example are internet cookies, which collect information about the websites you visit. Electronic devices are another tool of Big Brother, because most people use one nowadays, and this is enough for apps to know all about you. Mark Zuckerberg is a good example of a Big Brother, because being a Facebook owner, he has access to the data of millions of people. Although, we don't really know who handles that information. Just like in the novel, they only show us a representative face. In 1984, there is something called Telescreen, which serves to observe people. This in real life can be seen in facial recognition. The level that technology has is impressive, but at the same time is quite worrying that an electronic device can recognize your face just by means of sensors so easily. As you can see, there are many Big Brothers. They all have different methods of execution, although their purpose is the same. The real-life Big Brothers are even more dangerous than in the novel. In 1984, it was pretty obvious that people were being watched. But in today's world, Big Brother's operation mode is so natural that many times you don't realize the data you're providing. So yes, Big Brother is watching you. He's always watching you.
Chains of oppression that trap the wings of freedom, walls of ignorance that silence the voice of reason. That was our thought crime, the fire that burned down our choices and trapped us in the dark. The knife that got our mind and made us part of the system. That was our burden, the key that unlocked the secret of our freedom, accepting what we fear and rejecting the system. That was our truth, plunging into insanity, impersonating knowledge, challenging Big Brother.
In the book 1984, written by George Orwell, we can see the world as an atypical version of itself, with obvious and several situations that seem incredibly opposite to the actual world. But as weird as it may seem, there are many similarities between our reality and the one of Orwell. One of the main themes of the book, and the one that first comes to mind when thinking about similarities between the book and the actual world, is totalitarianism. We see in the book the characters live under a dictatorship run by their leader, Big Brother. But we don't have much to envy, because we're not sure in dictatorship and authoritarian or totalitarian regimes. Some of the most remembered examples are Nazi Germany, the USSR, Fascist Italy, Pinochet's Chile, the Spain of Francisco Franco, the Empire of Japan, etc. And speaking today, we have China, Venezuela, and North Korea as the most known. These types of government get to control in various ways, but the principle is by controlling the people mainly through fear and hate. These techniques aren't exclusive to dictatorships or else, they pretty much can be used by anyone. For example, in the US election of 2016, Donald Trump used the spies that a great part of the USA citizens feel towards immigrants to push forward his electoral campaign. This isn't the only case, but for comparison, in the book we can see how the party and Big Brother control the population of Oceania, this by making the people of Oceania hate both Goldstein and the Brotherhood, as well as the other world powers in the book. As I mentioned before, control or suppression ain't exclusive to dictatorships, and neither is to governments. One pretty clear example is cancel culture. Cancel culture or call-out culture is a modern form of ostracism. Ostracism meaning to exclude someone from a society or group, in which someone is thrust out of a social or professional circle, whether it be online, on social media, or in person. The expression cancel culture, especially in modern day, has mostly negative connotations and is commonly used in debates of free speech and censorship. This is a way in which normal people can condemn what they think could be inappropriate conduct and comments, mostly through social media and the internet. It seems like a good idea as a way to regulate the morals and ethics of the society and call out those who exhibit inappropriate behavior or conduct, in a similar manner to the spies who call out their parents to the top boys, as seen in this fragment. As this comparison is, I think is pretty spot on. Just in this case, there's not top police but other people with the same ideas and ideologies. This point may seem weird, but I do think personally that society is starting to change some languages in many ways, mainly the Slavic. But different from the book, where the intention of Newspeak is to reduce the capability of people to think freely, changing the actual world are aimed mostly to eliminate discriminative, homophobic, and sexist slurs. I think it is a good thing. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to fit all my ideas in this video, or else it will be like half an hour long. I hope you like, and thank you for watching.